So there is one thing that does really sadden me. Whenever I look at these two Android tablets, the Tab S10 FE and the S10 FE Plus, I see so much potential and there's a lot of things that I love about them. But then I look on YouTube and I see a lot of reviewers who won't give Android tablets the time of day. They're using their iPads or their Macs, and then they really have to roll their eyes whenever they see an Android tablet they have to review. So they might release some half-baked impressions video with very little footage of the devices and just call it a day. But in reality, they don't even use Android tablets and they don't care about the consumer. Well, here at Android Digest, I pride myself in not only using Android tablets, but really spending time with them. And even though this is only a first impressions video, I don't want to lie to you and say it's a full review. I have a lot of impressions on the Tab S10 FE and the S10 FE Plus. These devices are very, very good tablets, but there are still some flaws and some things that we need to get into, but there's also a lot of things that are good about them. Let's start off by talking about the prices of these tablets. So I'm not really a fan of the price jump here, but we do have the S10 FE that does retail at $499, and the S10 FE Plus, it does retail at $650. Now, even though those prices are relatively high right now, I am confident that Samsung will have a lot of deals going out there. After all, they are offering a lot of great deals on the keyboard covers if you do buy these today in the US. So keep in mind that Samsung is known for great trades, but also over time, I know the S9 FE, for example, that tablet was as low as $299 at one point. So if you see sales like that on the S10 FE, boy, it's going to be one heck of a bargain. And that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about the fact that all of these tablets, whenever they come out at full retail price, eventually they're going to go on sale. And even right now, at the full retail price, I do still think that there's some people that are going to want to buy these tablets because they are good mid-range tablets that do have a lot to offer. For example, we do get 7 years of updates here. Now, I haven't heard officially from Samsung if that's full OS updates. We might only get 5 years of full OS updates or 6 years. They haven't technically clarified as far as my research goes. But either way, Samsung is known to give you a lot better updates when compared to the competition. You also get the S Pen in the box. We do have a micro SD card slot here as well, and they do keep that around, and a fingerprint sensor in the power button, and some people will really like that. Now, if we look at the design of these tablets, there is a big change here, and it's not going to be found in the Tab S10 FE. The S10 FE has a very similar design to the Tab S9 FE and to the Tab S9 and the Tab S8 before it. There's not a lot that's different here. But if you do look at the S10 FE Plus, we do see a very strange size jump. And now we have a 13.1-inch tablet. And that does seem a little bit odd because the Tab S9 FE Plus, it was the same size as the Tab S9 Plus. So you would expect this to be the same size as the Tab S10 Plus, but it's not. So for some reason, they decided to jump up in size here to make this bigger than the Tab S10 Plus, but to make it smaller than the Tab S10 Ultra. And honestly, I'm really digging that. I know it's not going to fit the same cases as the Tab S10 Plus. Now, if you look at the book cover keyboard, yeah, you do have a black and a white option, and it's going to be very similar to the keyboard cover that you would find for the Tab S9 Plus. Again, it's just going to be a little bit larger in size. And if you look at the slim keyboard cover, it's going to be the same as previous years. Whether you have the Tab S10 FE or the Tab S10 FE Plus, it's going to be identical to those previous years. Again, the only difference here is going to be the size of the keyboard on this S10 FE Plus, but it's got the same layout, it works the same, it's got the same key travel and all of that. But either way, I will review those keyboard covers and the keyboard covers for these devices in a separate video. But I do enjoy these keyboard covers, they are really nice. I just hope they come out with an upgraded model one of these days. Something like the Magic Keyboard from Apple. Now, if we get to the displays and performance, you're going to find out that we do get some nice upgrades here. These devices are brighter than previous years. We do get 600 nits of base brightness, and if you want to go up to high brightness mode, it does get up to 800 nits of brightness, and it really does make a big difference. I actually took these devices out in public, and I noticed that the screens were a little more visible than normal. Now, yeah, there are some reflections. We don't get an anti-reflective coating here, and we don't get AMOLED. That's going to be one of those things that people might consider a deal breaker. There's a couple things actually around this price point that people might not like. We don't get a Snapdragon processor. We don't get an AMOLED display. So if you look at something like the Lenovo Yoga Tab Plus, it doesn't have AMOLED, but it does have an anti-reflective display, and it does have a Snapdragon processor. So some of you might be tempted to look to that tablet, especially since it is a little bit of a better value. But again, I would remind you that tablet won't have the operating system updates you're going to find here. You're also going to get Samsung DeX, and I do think that is unmatched whenever you're comparing it to any option from Lenovo. But you're not going to get quite the same performance here out of this Exynos processor. It is the Exynos 1580. It is a really nice jump up from the 1380, and I know if you had the S9 FE, it is going to be more than good enough for a lot of people out there. I do think it's a great bargain if you're a bargain hunter even today. The S9 FE and the S9 FE Plus, they are going to perform decent for a lot of things, but the power in the processor was a little bit of a pain point with that device, and now we do get an upgraded processor in both of these devices, and we do get 8 GB of RAM in the regular base model of the S10 FE and the S10 FE Plus, and that's really, really nice. So to get more performance and more multitasking, I just have to be real and say you probably won't notice that you don't have a Snapdragon device unless you're really pushing the limit with gaming. Gaming is something that is very interesting because yes, these devices can game a lot better than you could on the S9 FE and the S9 FE Plus, but they cannot game quite as well as a Snapdragon processor can, or the GPU that comes with that processor. I was able to do some emulation, and I was able to emulate PlayStation 2 games, and they were actually working good, and I was a little bit surprised because I couldn't do that whenever I was working with the S9 FE. So we are seeing some nice improvements, and whenever I was actually going from app to app, everything was very smooth and fast and very, very good. But there may still be some PS2 games that it won't emulate, and if you are gaming on Android, you're probably going to have to play things on medium settings. And if you are someone that wants to game on higher settings, well, you might want to look elsewhere for your tablet. Yeah, you're going to be able to game on almost any game out there, and a lot of games are still going to look really, really good on this great display. But it's not AMOLED, and again, you're not going to get the best gaming performance. So if you're looking around at tablets at this price point, the gaming performance is not going to be the biggest priority, and having an AMOLED display is one of those things that you're also not going to receive. And there is one other con that I just have to talk about because it's a pretty big deal. Now, it won't be a big deal to everyone, and unlike some people out there, I don't want to just be so opinionated just for clicks and just say you should never buy a tablet with this one feature missing, because that's just really, really dumb. Some of you don't even use this feature I'm about to talk about. But this tablet, it is missing external monitor support. It means if you get an HDMI cable and some type of USB-C hub of some sort, if you plug that into your tablet and you plug it into your monitor, you're not going to be able to view your tablet on the monitor. You're just going to have to deal with what's on your tablet. You can't plug it up to another screen and get it to work. The reason why that's so disappointing to me is the fact that they actually had that feature on the Galaxy Tab S10 FE and they took it away. A lot of people were clamoring for it when they took it away, and the S9 FE, it didn't have it, and unfortunately we still don't have it on the S10 FE or on the S10 FE Plus. And I just can't let that go, because whenever I see Apple releasing $800 phones with a 60 Hz refresh rate, it really makes me so mad, because Apple knows that you could get a 90 Hz refresh rate or a 120 Hz refresh rate in $300 Android phones, and they are intentionally withholding features just to force you to pay more money to get them. Well, Samsung here is clearly intentionally withholding this feature just to get you to buy the Plus model of their tablet. So Samsung is trying to charge you like $1,000, and I know it's a little less if it's on sale, but they're trying to get you to go all the way up to that price point just to get external monitor support. And I do not think that is cool at all. But I still have to be honest and say there's a lot of people out there that just won't care. If you're someone out there that doesn't care about external monitor support, don't let that negativity keep you from this tablet or to keep you from the S10 FE Plus or the S10 FE. These are still very good tablets for the right people. And especially when these tablets go on sale, they are going to be the value of the century in my opinion. When you could find an S10 FE, whenever it goes on sale for like $300 or $350, and you're gonna have a tablet with years and years of updates, years and years of support, that you get a stylus with it, you get a really gorgeous display with really good performance. And I'm telling you, a lot of you out there, you're not going to need more performance than this. Yeah, if you're pushing it to the limit or doing max gaming, sure you might. But I think most people, including me, I'm a flagship phone user with the Galaxy S25 Ultra, and these tablets do not feel slow at all to me. I could do a lot of multitasking, and of course these devices have Samsung DeX, so I could use Samsung DeX on them, and it works phenomenally. So I love these tablets, and I think they are very good for the right users. You get 45-watt charging, only one speaker on each side of the tablet. I will say that's a little disappointing, but you do get an SD card slot. If you want a headphone jack, you're gonna have to go to the A9 Plus, but again, you do get a lot of extra features here. And when I look at battery life, I am getting very good battery life. The battery size is about the same as previous years, so just keep that in mind. We get about 8,000 milliamps, give or take, in the S10 FE, and we have about 10,000 in the S10 FE Plus. So overall, I really like these tablets. And yeah, if I compare them to the devices that are out right now, the Yoga Tab Plus, yeah, that tablet is a better value, mainly because it's going on sale. So of course, if you compare these devices at full retail price, it's not going to be very good whenever you're comparing it to all of these devices on sale. Of course not. So if you're looking for the best value around this price, of course there are some other options. But even then, I would say that if I'm looking for a tablet around $500 to $600, I really do think these are the tablets for me. If you're wondering if there's a big difference between them, there's not. You're going to get the same brightness, you're going to get the same performance from them, you're going to get one camera on the back. The big difference is going to be the screen size. If you want something that's light, something that's portable, and if you want something with good long-term support, you want something that's fast enough that does feel very speedy when you're going from app to app, this is going to be it. Like the Tab S10 FE is going to be phenomenal. But if you look at the S10 FE Plus, because it has a 13.1-inch screen, because of that massive upgrade in size, you're going to be able to get much more productive on that very large display. But it's still a lot more portable than the S10 Ultra, and that's something I like. I want something that's large, and I could use it for movie watching and a lot of productivity. I want the keys on the keyboard to be large enough, and to do that, you do need a larger display, but I also want a little bit of portability. So this Tab S10 FE Plus, it does fit that perfectly. But for those of you looking for a little powerhouse, looking to save some money, and if you don't mind a smaller screen size, the S10 FE is going to be great. And even if you pay close to full price, I think these tablets still fit in pretty nicely, and I think they're pretty awesome, especially when you compare them to Apple. And I know they might have a faster processor in their iPads, but I really think Samsung packs some serious heat with these SD card slots they have, with some extra advantages they have over Apple. I really like these devices, and I can't wait to give my full reviews soon. So thank you so much for watching this first impressions video. If you did like it, please give me a like. And another thing, please, I'm telling you, for some reason my subs are a little lower lately. My views are high, but I don't often beg for subs like some people. So hey, if you want to sub to my channel, it does mean a lot. And you could also check those links in the description, because that is a huge way to support me. If you want to check out sales, you could do that there. So if you want any other Android tablet content, I cover tablets a lot on my channel. Check out some other videos, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy your day, and I really hope you enjoy your week.